You're in the market for a new set of irons. You want something forgiving, something that helps you hit it more consistently, and something that doesn't look ridiculous in the bag. You've done a little research and two names keep coming up: TaylorMade and Srixon. And right now, both brands have brand new game improvement irons on the shelf sitting at almost identical price points. So how in the world do you choose? Welcome back to Golf Gear Now, where we do the research so your next gear decision is actually an informed one. Today we're putting two of the freshest irons in the game improvement category head-to-head: the TaylorMade Qi MAX versus the Srixon ZXiR. Both sets are brand new, both are targeting the same type of golfer, and both bring genuinely impressive technology to the table. What we're going to do today is break down exactly where they differ, where they agree, and most importantly, which one makes more sense for your game. We're not handing out a trophy today. This isn't a ranking. It's a real comparison so you can walk away knowing which set fits what you actually need. And before we dive in, all the product links and current pricing for both sets are in the description below. We keep those updated so you're always seeing the best available deal. Let's get to it. Before we compare specs and technology, it helps to understand exactly who these clubs are designed for, because both of them are speaking to a pretty specific golfer. The TaylorMade Qi MAX is TaylorMade's flagship game improvement iron for this cycle. The original Qi from 2 years ago was well received and actually won top honors in a Golf Monthly Best Irons test, so TaylorMade had a lot to live up to with this follow-up. The Qi MAX is designed for mid to high handicap golfers who prioritize straight flight, consistent distance, and a cleaner look than typical game improvement designs. It's aimed at someone who knows they need help, but doesn't want their irons to shout that from across the range. The Srixon ZXiR is a genuinely new chapter for Srixon. The brand has long been associated with forged irons for better players, the kind of irons your scratch handicap buddy games. The ZXiR is their full step into game improvement territory, bringing the craftsmanship and feel philosophy they're known for and applying it to a club designed for higher handicappers who want more forgiveness. Plugged In Golf described it as an excellent option offering a balanced blend of distance and forgiveness. For a Srixon iron, that framing alone is significant. So you have an established giant in TaylorMade doing its best ever version of a game improvement iron versus a heritage brand stepping into a new category with serious engineering behind it. Both are legitimate options. The differences are in the details. Game improvement irons have a branding problem. Historically, the clubs designed to help the most are also the ones that look the most like something your aunt picked up at a garage sale. Thick top lines, massive soles, chunky hosels, all of it a visual reminder that your swing needs rescuing. Both TaylorMade and Srixon made it a priority to fix that with these models, and both largely succeeded. The TaylorMade Qi MAX is going for what TaylorMade calls an aspirational look. Compared to many game improvement predecessors, the Qi MAX features a thinner top line, reduced offset, and a shorter blade length that makes it look more like a player's iron than a game improvement club. MyGolfSpy reported that TaylorMade's design brief was explicitly to build an iron that looks like something a single-digit player would use, without actually being one. The satin chrome finish is clean and modern. At address, you get a confident-looking setup position, not a pile of metal behind the ball. The Srixon ZXiR takes a different route to the same destination. Since it's part of the wider ZXi family, Srixon designed it to sit cohesively alongside their more premium models in the lineup. The cavity back badging has that speckled, premium finish the ZXi range is known for. Golf Monthly noted the aesthetic is excellent, sophisticated, and clean. Now, the ZXiR does have a noticeably thicker top line and a longer blade length than the ZXi5 or ZXi7, which gives away its game improvement intent up close. But Srixon contained the shaping well enough that it doesn't feel intrusive or confidence-draining sitting at address. The back of the club head is hidden when you look down at it, which preserves that clean Srixon look. If you're strictly a looks-first buyer, the Qi MAX looks a little sleeker and more like a player's iron. The ZXiR looks premium and purposeful, but it won't fool anyone into thinking it's a blade. Both are a significant step above the chunky game improvement irons of 5 years ago, and both will hold their own in any bag. This is where the two irons genuinely separate themselves, and it's worth spending some real time here because the technology choices each brand made tell you a lot about the type of golfer each iron is built for. The TaylorMade Qi MAX headlines with what TaylorMade calls straight distance, and that story starts at the face. Most game improvement irons are built around fast, flexible faces that bounce the ball off quickly for added distance. The problem is that flexible faces tend to flex more at the toe than the heel due to the geometry of an iron head. When the toe fires harder than the heel, the ball spins with a slight cut or fade, sending it right for most right-handed golfers. TaylorMade's patented face technology controls how the face flexes, making it move more uniformly at impact, so the whole face fires together. The result is a more consistent draw-biased flight that keeps the ball straighter, especially on off-center contact. For someone who fights a right miss, this is one of the more meaningful pieces of engineering in the game improvement space right now. The Qi MAX also addresses something that's plagued hollow body irons for years: feel. TaylorMade surveyed 11,000 of its customers, and the number 3 answer, behind distance and forgiveness, was feel. To tackle it, they added a new internal sound stabilization bar that connects the bottom of the iron to the top line, plus an expanded echo damper made of soft polymer positioned behind the face. Together, they absorb harsh vibrations, reduce the hollow clicky sound at impact, and produce what TaylorMade describes as explosive and solid at the same time. On top of that, they use their FLTD-CG system, Flighted Center of Gravity, where the CG is positioned lowest in the long irons for easier launch and sits higher in the scoring irons for better precision and control at the green. The Srixon ZXiR leads with something genuinely new, a proprietary steel alloy they're calling iAlloy. This material was created specifically for the ZXiR and is approximately 10% softer than the 431 steel that most manufacturers use in cast irons. That might sound like a small detail, but the impact on feel is anything but small. Golf Monthly described impact with the ZXiR as unusually soft for a cavity-back design, something reviewers said felt closer to a forged iron than a cast one. National Club Golfer reported that even severe toe mishits, which normally sting a little through the hands, felt subdued through the ZXiR. That's the iAlloy doing its job. Srixon also built the ZXiR around their MainFrame technology, which is a milled pattern on the back of the face designed to redistribute mass based on where game improvement golfers actually hit the ball. Using real player strike data, they positioned the sweet spot lower on the face because high handicap golfers are far more likely to make contact low than center, and the club should be built for real swings, not perfect ones. The MainFrame also raises MOI at the same time, adding resistance to twisting on off-center hits. Layer in the Tour VT sole, a proprietary sole design with specific bounce angles and notches to prevent digging, and progressive grooves that are wider in long irons for launch and tighter in scoring clubs for spin, and you have an iron built with an obsessive amount of thought behind every detail. Before we get further in this comparison, if this breakdown is helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Golf Gear Now. We're here every week breaking down gear across every category so you can make smarter buying decisions. And links to both the Qi MAX and the ZXiR are in the description with current pricing. Definitely worth checking before you make any moves. Feel is subjective, but it's also the thing that makes you want to keep hitting the same iron over and over, or put it down after 5 swings. It shapes your confidence, your feedback loop, and ultimately how quickly you improve with a set of irons. And feel is genuinely where these two clubs have the most distinct personalities. The Srixon ZXiR wins the feel conversation, and it's not particularly close. The I-alloy construction delivers impact feedback that reviewers consistently described as unlike anything else in the game improvement category. Plugged-in Golf noted true mishits didn't sting, a feature they specifically attributed to the softer steel. Golf Monthly went further and said the feel is of the highest order, with even severe toe strikes feeling almost subdued through the hands. National Club Golfer called the experience across the face incredibly consistent and said the ZXiR is not only powerful and forgiving, but genuinely enjoyable to hit, something that can't be said for all game improvement irons. The sound leans a bit crispier and louder than you might expect given how soft the feel is. Plugged-in Golf described it as a mid-pitched crack that was a little louder than average, but even that sound is more refined than what you typically get from cast game improvement irons, and it still lands quieter than most competitors in the category. The TaylorMade Qi MAX has made genuine progress on feel from its predecessor, and it deserves credit for that. The sound stabilization bar and echo damper meaningfully address the hollow, clicky feel that made the original Qi feel a bit plasticky to some reviewers. Today's golfer called it a significantly improved iron with solid feel and a satisfying impact sound. Where the Qi MAX lands relative to the ZXiR is slightly firmer and more powered feeling, more of a thwack than a thud. For some golfers, that's actually preferable. It signals power and speed. For golfers who crave soft, feedback-rich feel, the ZXiR remains the gold standard in this comparison. Neither of these has bad feel, but they have different feel. If you've ever played forged irons and missed that sensation, the ZXiR is the only game improvement iron that gets close to that experience. If you want pure power feedback, the Qi MAX delivers that with authority. Both irons are long. Let's be upfront about that. The 7-iron on both sets lands around 28 to 28.5 degrees of loft, meaningfully stronger than a traditional iron. That means you're going to see more yardage numbers on the launch monitor, and you're going to need to relearn your distances. Whether that's a benefit or a nuance worth managing depends on your game. The TaylorMade Qi MAX is one of the longest irons in the game improvement category right now. Today's golfer reported 7-iron ball speeds exceeding 150 miles per hour during testing. Exceptional for an iron. Golfstead confirmed the Qi MAX belongs at the top of the distance rankings for its class. The draw bias keeps even mishits tracking toward the target rather than leaking right, which means you're not just getting distance, you're getting distance that goes somewhere useful. Dispersion is tight, consistency is high, and the FLT-DCG system makes the long irons genuinely launchable without extra effort. For golfers with moderate to faster swing speeds, this iron will show you yardage numbers you haven't seen before. Golfers with slower swing speeds should take a serious look at the Qi MAX HL, which uses 3 degrees of additional loft and a lighter construction to achieve better launch and height. The Srixon ZXiR matches the Qi MAX for raw distance and adds something the Qi MAX doesn't quite replicate: forgiveness on the specific mishits that actually happen. Because Srixon used real player data to position the sweet spot lower on the face, the ZXiR is optimized for where game improvement golfers actually strike. National Club Golfer reported that even genuinely chunky strikes maintained playable ball flights with the ZXiR. Peak heights exceeded 100 feet consistently. The Tour VT sole contributes to this by allowing the club to glide through the turf on those slightly heavy contact points, rather than digging and losing speed. Like the Qi MAX, slower swingers should look at the ZXiR HL version, which offers more launch and stopping power with the same core technology. Forgiveness-wise, this is one of the closest categories in the entire comparison. The Qi MAX gives you draw bias to tighten dispersion laterally. The ZXiR gives you low face engineering to protect your most common miss vertically. They're solving slightly different forgiveness problems, which means the right choice here actually depends on where your shots tend to go wrong. Here's the honest truth about amateur golf. Most of your shots aren't perfect. You're going to catch some heavy. You're going to clip the top of the rough. You're going to play off firm ground in July and soft, wet turf in October. How a club behaves through all of those scenarios matters just as much as how it performs on a flush strike from a perfect lie. The Srixon ZXiR has a dedicated advantage here that's hard to overlook. The Tour VT sole is a proprietary design that uses specific combinations of sole width, bounce angle, and notch relief at heel and toe to make the club glide through the turf rather than dig. Plugged In Golf specifically called out the VT sole's performance in varied conditions, from hardpan to soft turf to light sand, and noted it gave genuine confidence on a wide range of lies. National Club Golfers tester found that even chunky strikes performed remarkably well, crediting the VT sole for limiting the speed loss that normally comes with heavy contact. The progressive groove design adds another layer. Wider grooves in the long irons reduce grass interference for better speed and launch, while tighter grooves in scoring clubs promote spin and control. The TaylorMade Qi MAX uses a speed pocket along the bottom of the longer irons to protect ball speed on low face and slightly heavy strikes. It's a proven technology that TaylorMade has used for years, and it works. The sole design is well executed and handles standard course conditions confidently. Where it falls slightly behind the ZXiR is in the level of specificity. The Qi MAX doesn't have the same tour caliber, multivariable sole engineering as the ZXiR. On typical, well-maintained fairways and approaches, you won't notice the difference. But on courses with thick, rough, hardpan, or variable turf conditions, the ZXiR's dedicated sole technology is a genuine playing advantage. Let's talk money, because at this price range, you deserve to know exactly what you're getting for your investment, and whether either of these sets offers more value than the other. Both the TaylorMade Qi MAX and the Srixon ZXiR come in at very similar price points for a standard steel-shafted set. We're talking about a serious investment in your bag, and one that puts both of these irons firmly in the premium game improvement category. At this level, you're not paying for a brand name. You're paying for genuine engineering, real material science, and the kind of design work that actually moves the needle on the course. The TaylorMade Qi MAX carries the premium that comes with being the flagship offering from one of golf's most prominent brands. TaylorMade spends heavily on R&D, and the Qi MAX reflects that. The Echo Damper, the patented face geometry, the individual head optimization across every club in the set. You're also buying into a brand with a huge retail and fitting presence, which matters if you want to try before you buy or get custom shaft options. The wide availability means competitive pricing is easier to find, and TaylorMade's strong brand hold-on trade-in value is worth noting if you eventually want to move up.
The Srixon ZXiR comes in at an almost identical price and arguably delivers more engineering per dollar for golfers who prioritize feel. The alloy material alone represents significant R&D investment. Creating a brand new steel alloy is not something you see often in the game improvement space. Srixon has historically offered competitive pricing compared to TaylorMade and Callaway, and the ZXiR continues that tradition while delivering technology that some reviewers called superior in the feel department, to irons costing significantly more. Golfalant specifically noted the ZXiR represents great value for money, a phrase reviewers don't use lightly at this price point.
One thing worth flagging, both sets also offer graphite shaft configurations at a slight premium, and both have HL versions that bring the same core technology in a higher launching build at comparable cost. If you're factoring in a full custom fitting, which we'd always recommend at this investment level, both brands have strong fitting programs and a wide range of shaft options. Bottom line on price, they're close enough that price alone shouldn't be your deciding factor. Focus on which iron fits your game. Both deliver premium value for what they charge. Alright, here's where we land. The TaylorMade Qi MAX is the right iron if you fight a slice or a fade and want technology that's specifically engineered to fight it for you. The draw-biased flight, the uniform face flex, and the blistering distance output make this a set that genuinely improves shot shape for a wide range of golfers from the very first round. The improved feel over the original Qi is real. The look is cleaner and more modern than what you'd expect from a game improvement iron. And TaylorMade's brand depth, means you'll have no shortage of fitting options and support. If straight distance and corrected flight path are your biggest priorities, the Qi MAX is one of the best options in golf right now. The Srixon ZXiR is the right iron if you want a game improvement iron that feels like something a better player would game. The alloy material delivers soft, responsive feedback at impact that is genuinely unusual for this category. And for golfers who care deeply about what they feel in their hands, it changes the whole experience of playing irons. The Tour VT sole handles varied turf conditions better than almost anything in the category. The MainFrame's low sweet spot positioning protects you on the miss that actually costs most mid to high handicappers strokes. And the cohesive ZXi family look means these irons earn respect from better players who'd normally never touch a game improvement set. If you want forgiveness and distance without giving up feel, the ZXiR is a special iron.
Neither set is the wrong choice. They're genuinely two of the best irons in the game improvement category at the moment. The Qi MAX helps you hit it straighter. The ZXiR helps you feel it better. If you can only test one before buying, test them both. Get to a fitting, hit a dozen balls with each, and trust your hands. They'll tell you the answer pretty quickly.
That's our full breakdown of the TaylorMade Qi MAX versus the Srixon ZXiR. Two seriously impressive irons, two different personalities, and both of them capable of genuinely improving your game. Drop a comment below and let us know, which one are you leaning toward? And if you've already had one of these in your hands, tell us what you thought. We read every comment. Hit that like button if this helped you out today, and subscribe to Golf Gear now so you don't miss our next comparison. All the links and current pricing for both sets are in the description. We'll see you out there.